Everything I know about my husband turned out to be wrong. My husband and I met while we were both working in a restaurant. I was the cashier, and he was the kitchen manager. We just started talking and hanging out. I was back then recovering from the pain brought about by my failed relationship, and I found out he was somewhat the same, moving on from a rejection brought about by his best friend and one true love. It wasn't at all magic and fireworks. I would go to his apartment, have a few drinks with him, and fool around. It wouldn't happen for more than 6 months. It was a no-label and no-commitment type of relationship until he asked me to move in. I slowly learned to value our complicated relationship, so I was happy when he offered to live together. I was hoping that he could be my new beginning, but I was wrong. The guy was still not invested in me personally. He never asked me about how my day went, he never asked how I was, he never called or messaged to ask if I had eaten. He basically just wanted a companion. I learned to accept that this was my destiny, be with a guy that is stubborn, unpredictable, and inconsiderate. But I stayed because I've learned to love him. After a year of being in the same setup, I slowly saw that he's changing. He still doesn't ask me about my day, but he's opening up a little bit. He can talk about work and the stuff he did with his friends. He even introduced me to his family, which I appreciated a lot. I had come to realize that he may be stubborn, unpredictable, and inconsiderate, but deep down inside, he was shy and an introvert. He finds it hard to open up with other people, and he would just meet up with his friends to play PlayStation. I was surprised when 2 years later, he asked me to move to a different place. Maybe I thought I knew him, and maybe I'm ready to face a new environment with him, so I said yes immediately. He said he wanted to start anew, leave the apartment, and go up east. For the 2 years we were unofficially together, not once did he cheated or fool around with other girls. I was certain he was not the type. His family was also very warm and welcoming. They fully support the idea, and his friends, whom I know, were all up for it. We first left our job at the restaurant and moved to a different apartment. We don't have friends or family nearby. It was just the two of us, and I was quite happy about it. Another surprise came when he asked me to marry him. All of a sudden, after moving in, it was surreal. It was magic. I felt he wanted to spend his life with me, but perhaps it took him a long time to finally sort his act together because he was not sure. I was over the moon when finally he gave in and became ready to move to the next chapter with me. We got married after a year. It was simple. All of our friends and family were there. We enjoyed good food and a short but fun program filled with games and dancing. It was everything I imagined it to be. I was not a fancy kind of girl, and I enjoyed simple things. We also got new jobs, him as a valet attendant in a hotel and me as a medical receptionist. We loved our working environment and new friends. We also bought a house of our own. We were slowly building our dreams, I thought. For the entire time we were together, not once did I check his phone, ask for his password, or even browse his laptop. I never even checked his bag or his wallet. He opened up to me a lot when we got married. I knew that he only loved one girl before, his best friend, and he was a kind and responsible husband. Things came crashing down when one night he left his laptop open and I decided to browse it. Everything I knew about him was wrong. Yes, he's kind and loving and generous, though a bit shy, but I found that there was another girl. He never cheated, yes, but that other girl was the reason we moved out. He was in love with her, though they were never really together. All of their Viber conversations were still saved on his laptop. They were good friends from the looks of it, until my husband started to open up. He said he was slowly falling in love with her, and he wanted to be with her. But there was one problem. She's married. She never wanted to leave her family. She loves her husband, and she's going to stick with him no matter what. It was my husband who decided to move on, with me in tow, to a different state, away from the chaos of loving someone who's already married. I was mad. I was devastated. I was shaking when I was reading everything. There was no hint. I also started to question myself. Why did I not ask? Why did I not become privy? Why did I just accept everything? Why was I not enough? A day passed when I talked to him about it. It was typical. Him not talking much, but admitting everything. He's always been that way, the quiet type. I asked if he loved me. He said yes. I asked if he loved me right before we left for a different state. He said yes, but not much back then. I felt betrayed, but I also didn't want to go back. I wanted a new beginning for me. I'm beginning where I have a choice. I said I'm going to leave him to think things through. He did not stop me, but said he's sorry for lying. I composed myself carefully when I was leaving. I asked a coworker to rent a bed space on her home temporarily until I find my own place. I also went into therapy. He asked for forgiveness and said he still wanted us to be together. I said I needed to find myself. A month later, I found out I was pregnant. My decision was firm. I'm going to start anew without him. I'm going to build a life of my own. We decided to try co-parenting. We never decided if we were going to have a divorce. We both agreed that we'd think it over. When the time comes, when everything seems right, maybe, just maybe, we'd still end up together. I'm not closing doors, but I am freely enjoying my newfound freedom away from the lies and false pretenses. I deserve so much more, and I'm truly happy.